Right, Alexandra Henry, how,
Hello.
how proud am I of being able to interview you? It's taken me a while to get down. We finally got there.
Yep, definitely. I've been trying to avoid you, but
I'm trying to sidestep me, haven't you? Done a brother, done a couple of others, but now it's your turn, okay? Right.
yep.
This is just me and you having a chat. That's all it is. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, on a special day, which happens to be Valentine's Day, isn't it? Valentine's Day
It
2000.
does. My actual due date. I was meant to be born today.
Wow. One day after, tomorrow, birthday tomorrow.
Yep. Yep. 26.
Wow, amazing. 26 years old. Right, okay. So let's just dive in. Let's just meander through, see where it leads. Just tell us a little bit about you, Alex, and your journey so far. We're going to come on to a few things, a few of your challenges, but just give us a bit of background on your journey so far.
Yep. So I'm Alex. I'm 26 tomorrow. I live in Heckmondwike, but hopefully we'll be moving soon. I've just got an offer on my flat, so that's good. I've got 3 cats.
Called?
Willow, Luna, and Pandora.
Right.
They're my little fur children.
They move in with
Yeah.
you?
I do what, sorry?
They move in with you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Can't be leaving them behind. A couple of people actually said, "Oh, if you leave us one of the cats, we might put an offer in." I was like, "Well."
Okay. Nice. Okay, good. Okay. So your journey so far, obviously you started off, well, I think care's always been a big part of what makes you tick, hasn't it, I think?
Yeah. So I've done a couple of care jobs. So I left college from doing childcare and started working in an old people's home, which I really enjoyed. It was a bit far away, so I sort of looked for something else and jumped from there to another care job. But during that care job, I kind of got quite unwell and had to take a little bit of time out, which battered my mental health because I really struggled to go from working full time, being physical every day, to just going from that to nothing. So I had a rough couple of years mentally, sort of dealing with going from working to not. It's quite mentally draining to sort of, I know it's mentally draining to work, but being at home all the time on your own, it was a struggle for me anyway. And then I think you gave me an opportunity through Action Coach to volunteer on an event.
Yeah.
You did tell me it was a small event and there wouldn't be that many people there. I mean, there was a couple of thousand people there, wasn't there? But that was sort of the making of me. I went along, met some wonderful people, and through that got offered a job at Action Coach as an executive assistant. And that really was the making of me. It built my confidence. I got so many people skills, learned so much. It's such a good community of people. So from there, I did jump back to care because care is always sort of in my heart. It's something that I like to do. And then obviously with COVID, I've had to stop that, and I'm now working for Ben and Rosie, doing a bit of social media, some admin bits and pieces for them.
Ben's brother Ben, isn't it? And
Yeah.
Rosie, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing currently.
Yeah.
Who knows what the future will hold?
Well, come on, I'm going to ask you some questions about that towards the end, but that's a great summary. So care's always been a big feature.
Yeah, massively. I think it's just due from my past.
Yes.
I've had to have quite a lot of input into my care, so I like to give that back to other people.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us a bit about, what the background to you being cared for. What's the background to that?
So I don't know how many days old, but when I was a baby, I got diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, which most people have never heard of.
Yeah, I think about 6 or 7 days old when your mum realised there was something not quite right. I think it's a mum's instinct, isn't it? When a baby's not right, you kind of not. It's called meconium ileus, which means your kind of body wasn't kind of digesting and passing the food that you were given. You're just bringing it back up again. So your mum in particular knew something wasn't quite right. Sorry, I'll let you go.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So yeah, I've had that since birth. It's been a challenge through my whole life. From people that don't know, it affects the digestive system and the lungs. So for my whole life, I've had a cough, had to do a lot of treatment, nebulizers, tablets, extra antibiotics. I've got a port in my arm that I have antibiotics down when I'm unwell. Spent a lot of time in hospital, and then when I was about 12, I got diagnosed with diabetes as well, which is it's not great, but it sort of comes with the parcel. My pancreas was sort of a bit damaged anyway because of CF. And then maybe 3 or 4 years ago as well, I got a nasty infection in my lungs. I've had infections over the years, but Capacia was quite a big one, damages a lot of the lungs. So yeah, it's been a rough ride, but it's taught me a lot because I appreciate the little things. When you're away from everything, and particularly I was in hospital when COVID has been about, and just that you can't see another face. I mean, without technology, it would be a real struggle. It's not easy being in any way in an inpatient with different environment, but it was really not easy just with COVID. But yeah, it's taught me a lot of things that I wouldn't have learned. And as much as it's an awful disease, it's given me a lot to be thankful for. And mainly it's the little things. So like having your tea with your family and staying at home watching telly with the cats and James, and the little things are the important things.
Yeah, James is your partner, isn't it? James.
Yeah.
Together. So, I think, how much has he helped?
Massively. So I've had a couple of bad relationships over the years, I think. But James has really sort of made me a better person. And I've got quite a problem with being emotional in front of people and sort of telling people how I actually feel, because for my whole life I've tried to protect the people around me, which is a really hard sort of, as a child, you try and protect those people because you don't want them to see you as sick, even though you are, and it's inevitable, and they will see you in positions where you are sick, but you still try your best to sort of comfort the people around you, which it's really difficult. But James has been my outlet, so he's the person I can be emotional to. He's my rock. And I'm so grateful for that, because without that, I don't know where I'd be.
Yeah, God, as if you don't have enough to deal with a disease like that, and then you're trying to protect other people. I mean, it's just incredible. And I know I just want to pay kind of reference to your mum, who's, in terms of support, let's just touch on your mum and how much support she's given you over the years.
Yeah. Well, my mum dedicated her whole life to looking after me. Basically, she worked a little bit when she was younger. But yeah, she sort of just gave up her whole life to make sure that I was well, and to give me physio, to give me IVs, to be there when I had to come home from school. I had a lot of time off school when I was a kid, just for being unwell. So she really has dedicated her whole life to sort of making me as well for as long as I can.
Right, and it's paid off, on all that effort and all that input and all that support your mum's given you, I think. And I know we talked about it before. She's the one person of many that you've wanted to protect. And when you're going in for your lung function test, which is a measure of how well you're doing, it's not all you can tell your mum that it's gone below 40%, is it really? So that's pressure to bear.
It's difficult to tell, like obviously you as well, it's really hard to tell people that you're sort of deteriorating, because as much as you and mum know what the eventuality would have been, that one day I wouldn't be here, it's really hard to sort of, you don't understand that almost. So it's always been like, I just need to keep going for my family, really.
Yeah. And also your brother Ben, what's your angle on Ben, and how, what impact it might have had on Ben, and any observations, any thoughts on that, your brother?
Yeah, it's not something I've really thought about. I mean, Ben is, for anybody that knows him, he's such a chilled out person. Like, he's so laid back, and I think that has really helped, because I needed a lot of attention as a child, and Ben just understood that because I was ill, that I needed a bit more attention than him. He's been very independent, and he's just so chilled out, and he's very supportive through everything that's gone on so far.
Absolutely, you're spot on. You're absolutely right. I mean, I think anybody with any other type of personality who wanted attention, it would have been a problem. It would have been a big.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm proud of you both. I really am, and you're different characters, but in the circumstances, it is good that Ben was so chilled. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing I just want to touch on is obviously there are people who you've known, we've known, who have not been as lucky in terms of kind of getting through cystic fibrosis so far.
Yeah.
You know, any thoughts, comments on that?
Yeah. Cystic fibrosis is quite an isolating thing because you can't actually be physically in a room with somebody else that's got CF because bugs can be transferred so easily between the two. So it's quite isolating, but obviously with online technology, we can now connect with people. So the two people that stand out is Tom Grimshaw,
Sure.
who unfortunately he died when he was 15, which is too young, is so too young. And I do see his family still. I've been away with his sisters,
Yeah.
and I find that really hard because I feel that they like spending time with me because it feels like a bit of Tom, but also they wish Tom was here as well. So it's I think it's probably very bittersweet for them. But it's really hard to watch people lose the fight and to know that one day that might be you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and Tom and our families have spent time together right from the start. Certainly, Michelle and Chris, Tom's dad, were two of the first people that myself and your mum actually met, and they were further ahead on the CF journey than we were. So they helped us an awful lot in terms of understanding it. You know, so really very, very sad, but they really kind of look up to you, Alex, and they love being with you. I know Michelle and Chris do. You know, because that's where it's. Yeah. Okay, so let's just touch on, I suppose, I mean, there are other people that have supported. I just want to acknowledge the other people and the other organisations that have supported you so far. Areas like, you know, I mean, your very first consultant was a doctor called Dr. Wilson. You probably don't remember her, but she was a brilliant consultant, a little bit scary. We used to get a bit scared when we went in to see her. But, you know, she was a big part of the first part of your journey. And then when we moved across to Leeds, it was Dr. Brownlee, wasn't it? I think, who's what an inspirational, amazing person he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Father of the two Brownlee brothers, the triathletes. Lovely man. And also, and do you remember Nisha?
I do. I've actually got her on Facebook. I connected up with her not a while ago. I don't really remember her because I think I was probably too young.
Yeah, she was.
But I think that's amazing for her to be able to see me now, knowing what the outcome was when I was a child.
Right.
It's amazing.
She's got married now, so her surname's changed, but she was fantastic support for us right from the start. She was the first person that came to see us when you were born. Amazing. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's touch on the kind of the treatment. And when you were born, we were told that probably 5 years after Alex was born, there'll be a cure here for cystic fibrosis, or as good as. And you're now 25. Let's just touch on that. Let's just explore what's going on there.
Yep. So most of the treatment over the years, up until the last couple of years, has just been to prevent damage. So I've been taking a lot of nebulizers, tablets, and just things to try and prolong. But with people with CF, you can catch infections from anything, like literally leaves, water. So my lungs got quite damaged from different infections picked up from different things. And up until I think maybe 5 years ago, there was a drug came out called Orkambi, which Dr. Brownlee particularly was absolutely, people have been fundraising, fighting for this drug. So that it was a good drug, and that stopped sort of the progression. So that in itself was amazing, that these two little tablets would stop the damage further, which absolutely blows my mind. All the tablets I've taken over the years, but these two was just incredible. And they'd sort of said that there was other things in the pipeline, that there was newer things coming, but this one would just stabilise. And then I think with COVID, we'd been hearing for a long time about one called Triple, which is Kaftrio, and that this was a wonder drug. This would be as close as we are to a cure. And it's hard to get excited. I was very excited on the inside, but not knowing when that drug would come. Would I make it to the point of that drug being allowed? Would it work for me? A lot of people have started these medications and they've been too sick and they've had to come off with side effects. So it's quite, you're so excited for it, but there's also a lot of risk, a lot of chances that it might not work. So I think it was the 25th of September last year, I got the drug delivered to home, and my partner actually had COVID and I had COVID, but no symptoms. So they said, right, just start the drug. And within maybe 4 hours, my body started to clear all the rubbish. Within a few days, my lung function had gone from 40 to 70, which is absolutely insane. People just deteriorate with CF. The lung function gets worse, and then inevitably it's a transplant that is your only option. So yeah, this new drug has given me that extra lung function. I don't cough anymore, which is something that I've done for 25 years. I've coughed every day, even laughing. If I laughed, I would always cough. And now if I cough, I'm a bit like, well, what's that? What's going on? So it's really weird. And another thing I find really weird is thinking that I'll be an old person.
Wow.
Which is something I've never, I knew that I would never be an old person. I knew that if I sort of got to 35, going on 40, I would have done amazing. A lot of people don't even make it to 25. So to be here at 26 and then to have that lung function gained, which I know now that I'll be able to live to be an old person, is just mind blowing. It's sort of weird to accept that and to think about the future now.
Yeah. How does it feel to you've almost got your life back in it? How does it feel? What do you?
It's amazing, because mentally it's really hard to deal with that you're going to die from a disease. For anybody that's got a disease, mentally that's a really hard thing, and not knowing when, not knowing if you will get married, if you will have kids, just them things that you want from life are not promised when you've got an illness like this. But it's incredible to just think that those things are all on my cards now. Those are all things that I can do. Yeah, it is amazing. It's amazing.
You're amazing, and it is amazing, and the support and the the kind of technology that's gone into it is fantastic. It really is.
Yeah, I'm so lucky to have made it this far, because a lot of people have not made it this far to even try the drugs.
Yeah.
And they've told me as well that this isn't the end, that there's already other things that they're working on, but I can't imagine anything that would be better than what I've already got right now. So
Amazing. Yeah. Nothing in life is more important than your kids as a dad, and Ben, I include Ben and you in that. But when you have children, I don't know, your whole focus changes. Your reason why changes. You discover what love really means, because love is different when you've got children. It's unconditional. But when you've got a child that's ill, and I remember the day we were told about your diagnosis, and myself and your mum went into a room, and it will never leave me, that feeling of, oh my Lord, it's just, but just to see you now, to see you're kind of thriving and positive, it's just, it blows my mind, it really does. And you're right, I think it was all about keeping you as well as we possibly could, and
yeah,
because in anticipation of there being something that would kind of prolong your life, really, I think, and that's what's happened, which is fantastic.
Yeah. They've actually said as well that, like, in maybe 5-10 years, cystic fibrosis won't be seen as such a destroying disease, because people born today will start the drugs as a child.
Yeah.
They won't get the damage that sort of the older generation of people with CF have got, because they'll be on these medications. It'll be prevented right from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, now you've got your life back. Let's look forward.
Okay.
What's the dream? What are the goals? What's the plan? What's on your dream board?
So, well, one of my main goals, which is something that I've always wanted to do, is to be a mum. Since I've always been very maternal. As a little kid, I'm always playing with dolls, and it's something that has not really been an option up until now. So that is my utmost main goal, which I think a lot of people take it for granted as well. A lot of people don't even think that it'll be hard to have children, and the impact on not being able to have children, and then also the impact of having a child but then having a condition that could take your life in a few years. So I think that's my main goal. A couple of other things I'd like to do I want to finish my book, for one. I've started writing a book, just bits and pieces of it, but it'll get there. It's getting more and more, but just with bits and pieces. One of the other things that I'd really like to do is just inspire other people, and not just with CF, but with conditions that are sort of destroying. I want to inspire those people that you can sort of achieve, even though you see you can still live your life. You've still got to go out and do things and have dreams. So I think there are a few big ones.
Great stuff. That's fantastic, Alex. It really is. And I think one of the things we've talked about in the past is how can we gather together people who have got illness, because obviously we're in business. You're in business. Working with Ben. I think property's on your radar at some point, isn't it? I think so.
Yeah.
And anybody watching this video, we'd like to gather a group of people around us that are probably suffering a little bit with illness or with a challenge that possibly makes them think they can't achieve the goals and the dreams. And we'd like to support that journey, I think, because that's what's important to me and you, isn't it? I think whether that's on Clubhouse or whatever. So anybody that's interested, and watching this, just give us a shout out, and maybe we can gather a few people together and see what we can do to collaborate, I think.
That'd be amazing. I think it's easy to think that when you've got something like that hanging overhead that you can't achieve things. And I've sort of always thought, oh, well, I'm not really bothered about what I do for a job because I know I'm not going to be doing it for a long time. Like when I was younger, I wanted to be a midwife, but I thought I might not have that many years, so I'm not going to waste years at uni when I potentially might not be able to do that in the future. So it would be great to get other people and a group of people that understand the challenges that each other are going through, and just support each other to sort of come through those challenges. Because normal business owners, business is hard, but when you've got that on top of like a condition or a mental health problem, those challenges are even harder.
Brilliant. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Right. Well, I think we've got quite a bit of ground there, Alex, and I think you've done.
Yeah.
You're great on interview. Despite saying I never know what I'm going to say, but you're just you're great. You're a great conversationalist. You really are, and it's great to listen to you. And I'm so proud of you. You've achieved, and I'm so pleased you're settled and happy with James. And maybe we can do this again. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll get an update on what's going on.
Yeah, that sounds good. And if anything, this little video might spread a little bit of awareness about cystic fibrosis. So
fantastic, Alex. That's great stuff. Okay, well done. And have a great Valentine's Day and have a great birthday tomorrow. I love you.
Thank you. I will do. I'll speak to you soon.
I love.